Thank you for going to a special place with me, Carl Nargle. Cut it.
Beneath that floppy fro is actor Owen Wilson, portraying a whispery-voiced public television painter named Carl Nargle.
The hair, I can't imagine Carl Nargle looking any way but that, and it's amazing that you could get used to something and start to feel very comfortable in it.
This is for you.
He plays a familiar artist you may think you know.
Mighty Mount Mansfield on an early, surprisingly chilly April morning.
Is this movie about Bob Ross? Is it a spoof?
I think it was sort of imagining, that world of public television and kind of telling a story within that, and then using this character of Carl Nargle, who, certainly has a Bob Ross look and, a little bit of Art Garfunkel and Gordon Lightfoot. Even though the movie's set in 2008, he's set in 1977 because he hasn't had to change. Everything's going his way.
Fans love Wilson from his on-screen hilarity in films like Wedding Crashers alongside Vince Vaughn.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
He wrote me a letter. He says he's in love with you.
Or portraying erratic actor and wannabe brother Eli in The Royal Tenenbaums. His latest film, Paint, has viewers drawing some obvious comparisons between Carl Nargle and Bob Ross. But this is no biopic.
Brace yourself, you are going to get some calls.
Sure.
I'm not so good at doing imitations, and as great as Bob Ross's voice is and his manner, I couldn't quite get that, although it would have been, useful, so I had to do sort of my version of what I think a, public television painter who has a devoted fan base in Vermont might sound like.
You took someone clearly inspired by a character and then really changed them quite a bit.
Carl Nargle, what his sort of funny kind of struggle is that people don't really change unless they have to, and so everything's gone great for him, and then all of a sudden now, after decades, his standing and position is under siege with this new painter.
Done.
Wilson's character faces an identity crisis when his local fame is thrown off by some new competition.
Hi, friends, and welcome to Paint with Ambrosia.
His reviews suffer, and his artistic empire begins to crumble around him.
Did you pull from any moments in your own life when you sort of thought about that?
There's definitely been, more than a few terrible reviews, and I, stay away from them just because I don't want to read them because, it doesn't feel good. He's kind of saying it doesn't affect him, and you're like, gosh, what a brave guy. And then the next scene, you see him racing to try to, pick up all the newspapers so no one will read this terrible profile on him.
And Wilson drew on his very own special connection to public television and the excitement behind this artistic world.
It's harder.
My dad ran the PBS station in Dallas in the late 70s, and so as a kid going down to visit him, that's an exciting place to, have your dad working and seeing kind of the cameras and, all the stuff that they're doing. I think my dad would get a kick out of this movie.
Wilson's foray into on-screen painting also helped him rediscover a passion that he says he really missed from his youth.
Well, I have been thinking about, why do all of us as a kid, your parents give you crayons, you're always drawing at a restaurant and stuff. Why do we ever stop that? Because there is something, that we get from it that still feels good.
It's a feeling that he's now passing on to his own boys.
Before we started, I took I guess they're Bob Ross instructors or Bob Ross School of Painting, and I took it with my two boys, and we, I think we did a pretty good job. I know that the paintings are hanging up, in the house.
Carl had that one image he kept going back to. Did you have one image that you kept going back to?
There was a drawing I did as a kid of the Lone Ranger, and he was like fighting like the Marines, and it had all these, and then planes and tanks, a typical picture that a kid would be working on. And I messed up on the Lone Ranger's boot, one of them, and I was so frustrated that I did not want to finish, and my mother had to pay me to finish it because I didn't like the way it turned out. And I finished it. She took it and got it framed, and it still hangs up in the house today back in Dallas.
What's the one message that you want viewers to take away with? I mean, there's so many messages.
Well, I would hope that they find it funny, you know, the way I did when I first read the script, and that, you know, also kind of poignant, I think, some of the things that Carl is struggling, and that some of the other characters kind of talk about what can give your life meaning. That's something that I think can resonate for all of us.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.